everybody.
Hey, hi.
Oh, now we're even closer.
Okay. Oh, I think we're on, even though over on part of the screen it's saying.
Move this just a
It's
little bit.
thinking, oh, we're on live. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm just fixing it.
Doesn't matter.
I'm trying to get you more in there, babe.
I'm in plenty. There's enough of me to go
There's
around.
enough. Okay.
There's enough of me to go around.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hey.
Welcome to
Sunsets with
Dan and Cindy. We'll have to do that again here in a minute. But,
Yes. Yes. Just to make
today
sure everybody-
is-
Give us some thumbs up so that we know.
Today
I don't
is
know where we can see
Saturday, right there.
Oh, you
See?
okay.
Saturday, February. No, wow.
Oh my.
January the 23rd.
23.
Hey, let us know where y'all are signing in from. And if you don't want to post a comment, you can always hit that little thumbs up button or that heart button. And that also is a great interactive. It's like people applauding,
Yeah, it's
like you know,
joining the chat, so to speak,
Yeah.
to say, hey, that was a great thought, or
Yeah.
thumbs up. Love that.
We've asked people over the last several months, whenever we mention Thomas House's name, like right now, go ahead and do that thumbs up or heart. And he just really loves that. Thomas is our social media guy,
Yes.
and we're so thankful for him. So we'll give everybody just a minute to join
Catch up.
in. While everybody's joining, let's just remind everybody where we can find
Tell them
each
where they
other
can find you,
on
Sandy.
social media. You can find me right here on Facebook, Sandy Patty. You can also find me on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel now, and Thomas is always posting some really old, like dust off the vault kind of songs. A lot of different songs over the decades. A lot of different hairstyles.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. So,
We do.
lots of perms going on.
Yes.
Anyway,
80s,
but all
80s
we
and
want,
90s,
all we'd
yes.
love for you to do is just hit the word subscribe. That's all you have to do. You don't have to even put in your email. You don't have to do any of that. Doesn't cost anything, but when you hit subscribe, it really lets YouTube know that something really fun goes on that channel. You can also find me on Instagram, Sandy Patty P, and on Twitter, Sandy Patty P. How about you?
Thank you, Miss Cindy. You can find me at DonPeslis, Don Peslis, on both Instagram and Facebook. And we love, I've got a lot of folks to add that are follow us friends, and we try to
You
post.
make his day when
I
you say,
know, a
will
7.
you become my friend? It's like, yes.
Yes. But I try to post every day, typically on Instagram, and it bounces over to Facebook. So,
Yeah.
all right, that's where we are.
And you know, every week we pick up new
We do.
listeners,
We do.
and so every
Yes.
week we want to just remind
Yes.
everyone where the name Sunsets with Dan and Cindy came from.
Tell them, Cindy.
Yeah.
Tell them, Cindy, why don't you?
So, you know, I'm Sandy, this is Dawn, and a few years ago we were hosting an event at our church for a choir, and it was kind of a skit, sort of. And you said something snarky. I don't even remember what you said. And
Really?
and you kind of sounded like that old radio voice, you know, how you put your ear up.
go ahead and tell them,
Yes. And I said, well, that was weird, Dan, or something like that.
Yes.
And you said, mind your own business, Cindy, or something like that. And so Dan and Cindy have become our pre-retiree names.
Yes.
Because we are retirement age, but we don't want to retire yet.
Yes.
But we want to play. So anyway, it's just our name we have fun with.
That comes to us, the pre-retirees, comes to us from last year's almanac. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But the front of the almanac's always filled with tidbits and just really fun data.
It is great.
And that was a buzzword last year. Again, we may have slowed down.
Retirees.
We may have left the office, but there's nothing really about. I should say.
But the office has not left us.
That's right.
How about that?
That's
Well,
right.
that's kind of that's true for everyone of 2020. Kinda.
Right.
So also sunsets. I love sunsets. You love sunsets. Sunsets. The physical sunset is beautiful, but also like the sunset years. So that's where sunsets came from. And we're just so glad to have you join us. Thanks for being here. And as always, Dan and Cindy really want to speak to a specific generation, and that is our own generation, the boomers.
Yes.
It's the largest generation. Now we have, they call us what, the silver tsunami.
Well, a friend of mine in the medical business actually says it is known that boomers and even the traditionalists, the biggest age of folks really retiring and getting ready, been retiring and we're some of the last.
Yeah.
The silver tsunami.
Silver tsunami. That just sounds awesome. So we love being pre-retirees, and we want to bring you every week something, if you can remember the word pie, practical, inspirational, and educational. And you'll always find us here on Saturday night. What's the times there, Dan?
Well, thank you, Cindy. 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 in California, and in Australia.
Tomorrow. I know, we love that. So, okay,
That's
well,
one of our little, we should have, and now we can really say, which some of you have asked, why do we do this? It's a 1930s radio. They didn't have earphones, but the microphone was here to hear. They'd say, Sunsets with
Dan and Cindy.
There it is.
Ba-da-ba.
Okay.
So glad to have you. Let's get an update.
Well, weekly update. It's our weekly update where we kind of talk about news of this week.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, one of the fun things this week, and then I want Sandy to talk a little bit about it, was Thursday night. We kind of had an impromptu visit with two of the Oklahoma grandkids and families, and you made
It was just such an impromptu
Nani's
kind of
though,
thing.
but Nani's know this. She somehow knew
I
this
just did. I sensed it. So,
and went to the store and bought 2 roasts. Tell them about it.
well, our neighbor, she's been
Yes,
sick,
yes,
and
yes,
so
yes.
I wanted to take her some food.
Yes, yes.
And I just thought to myself, I said, Self, you can easily cook 2 pot roasts as you can 1.
That's right.
And so I just threw 2 in, thinking I could, divvy it up or freeze it like my mom always does. And it ended up that day we kept Nora because Allie is teaching voice lessons.
Yes.
So when she came to pick Nora up, she and Will stayed for dinner.
There was one.
And then Sam and Carly are working for Shipt right now.
Hello.
SHIPT.
Yes.
It's a food delivery
No, but
service.
they can only make deliveries, so don't you folks out there, you 30,000
only
watching.
Oklahoma City.
Only Oklahoma City. We've got to deliver to Toledo quick.
Yeah, quick. No. But so
Wouldn't that be funny?
they had a delivery in this area, and they said, hey, can we pop by? And I said, well, I've got a big roast. So they ate, we ate, so we had dinner and fun.
It was so good.
For everybody, and
So good.
it was great.
So good. Well, that's
yes.
kind of a weekly update. And
Yeah.
many of you online know this as well, part of our weekly update, that we, being good citizens, she still has that. Let's see, can you see it?
Yeah, the bruise. I didn't even bruise at all. So I got my first vaccine.
Yes.
It was the Moderna vaccine.
Yes.
And I was excited that I fit all the qualifications because I will turn 65 this year. So I'm not technically 65, but I did put that according to my body mass index, I am obese. So I put obese. And I also put that you're so sweet. He likes, he calls me voluptuous.
Okay.
Moving
It's moving right along.
But I love it.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. For a long time, I thought, oh, you're just saying I'm beautiful because you're my husband and you're supposed to. And then I actually started believing that you meant it. To which then I said, God has given him special eyes.
They are. See, the one does that.
Stop. And then I started to believe I really am beautiful, not just in your eyes, but like you think I'm hot. So anyway,
We'll be right back after station identification.
Anyway,
All right, moving along.
but according to my body mass index, which I am purposing to work on
That's right.
this year in 2021.
So,
All of that, they sent me an email saying that I qualified. And so I went and got my very first shot after talking to my doctor, after going to the CDC. So I feel good today. Now, I will say yesterday, which was, so I had my shot on Thursday. Friday was day 2. And it was a rough day.
yes, a few little.
It was kind of like Cliff Notes COVID.
Yeah, just a little, few symptoms, just
Yeah, and they
achy
went
little-
through really, really fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Interesting.
which is what the data said. So I was prepared for that. And this evening, I just feel so much better. And I purposely chose to do it on a Thursday so that I would be, good for Sunday. So that's my update. Again,
That's
my
how
personal journey.
6 plans right there,
Oh,
folks.
please,
That's
yes.
how a 6 preps for it, does her research, knows all of the questions, and wants to be a good citizen. And
Yes.
we are trying to be good, positive, salt and light citizens. I'm really
Yes.
proud of you.
Thank you.
And,
And,
and I'm on the list.
He's on the younger person
Well.
list because he's a younger person.
Anyway,
Anyway.
but you know what? I could tell them that
I've raised him really well.
she did good. But you know what? Speaking of that, and we'll talk about this in the Konitso moment. We've got a special guest coming next week.
Well,
You
then
wanna
let's
wait?
wait.
Let's just go to that.
No, let's
wait.
let's
Okay.
do the almanac.
All right, let's go.
So we have a list.
We
you
do.
know, I like to follow the
We're
list.
following the list.
Okay, so almanac moment with Dan and Cindy.
Thank you for finishing that. I just always need that.
It's that hanging 5 chord. It's not
Gets
really
me.
a 5 chord if you can think of it as the 6th of
Gets-
a 1 chord.
Gets me every
And
time.
Cindy.
Okay, yes. Well, welcome to the 23rd day of the year, not the 300th.
What?
Yeah, 23rd day of the year, Saturday, and this is January 23. Can you believe it? Some lucky person last night won that nearly $1 billion mega ball. Can you believe that? In Michigan, of all places. So tickled for that. Not that we want to encourage any of that type of behavior, but anyway, moving right along. This is the 23rd sunrise was a beautiful 7:06 in the morning. These are Boston times, around 7:40-ish here in lovely Oklahoma. And sunset was a 4:47 in Boston, about 5:15, a little bit later than that here. 9 hours, 41 minutes of shine. So again, 9 hours, 28 minutes last week. Days are getting longer
Nice, yes.
as we make the push towards
Yes.
the summer solstice. So days are going to get longer. We've gotten through, again, December 21 was our winter solstice, which was so fabulous this year,
It was
Sandy, with
fantastic
with
this
Jupiter
year.
and Saturn.
Yep.
And
The
I have to say,
Bethlehem star.
so you know what? It's fun. Let us know, folks out there again. We love to know your pre-tiree names. We love to know where you're from. And we love to know how you're using the almanac. I think almanac sales are up. They might want to think about sponsoring us.
And we would not hate that.
We would not.
We would not hate it.
Coming at you since 1792, your Farmer's Almanac.
There it is.
That's it.
Well, we have been excited this year that we've gotten to come alongside a company called Konitso.com.
Yes.
Konitso is it's a combination of the word. I need to learn this.
You've
Go.
got it. No, you've got it.
Of
wisdom.
Wisdom and
Mhm.
hope at
That's
the intersection of wisdom and
There
hope.
we go.
So it's a combination of the Greek words for
Yes.
wisdom and hope.
Yes. Good.
And it is all information for
Yes.
people our age
Yes.
and our families. It's a multi-generational experience.
Yes.
All kind of a one-stop shop.
Yes.
And Don's been writing an amazing blog.
Oh,
You've
she's
got to go to Konitso.com and see his blog every week. It's something about body, mind, and spirit.
Thank you, Sam.
You're welcome. I really do. You're a great writer. I know you love to talk, and that's
Well,
I'm
but,
not
writing-
making jokes, but
writing-
we all know you love to talk.
But writing is talking on paper.
See, one time you literally said to me, "It's not that I talk all the time. I'm just thinking out loud." It's like, okay, well,
There is the definition of an extrovert. You know what? That Konitso commercial was just fantastic, Sam.
well,
again,
we really are
We are
thrilled.
tickled to death. And many of you have been sending us pictures of you in the Konitso socks.
Oh,
I
the
love
socks.
that. So
They're the
go ahead and
best.
send us those. Again, a little touch. You can find out not only information, but resources, experiences, information, and not only my blog, but we've got a new feature.
And can I tell about it?
Come on,
and then
tell
you
'em.
unpack
Yes,
who he
do it,
is.
do it.
So, Oprah has her Dr. Oz, right?
Yes, come on.
So, part of the Konitso
Wellness.
dream team is our friend Dr. Andy. Konitso, if you go on the website, it actually has started. It says Ask Dr. Andy. We are going to have Dr. Andy on with us next week.
I know.
He is a brilliant man. He's a gentle, quiet soul, but very smart. He
Yes.
comes from the Hebrew faith.
Yes.
And so he said he was really glad our show is on Saturday and not Friday.
Right.
Because he said, I can't make it on
Isn't that
Friday,
right?
which I
I
love.
love it.
So we are just, he kind of reminds us of a very more soft-spoken Dr. Fauci.
Yes. He lives in Chicago, in the
Mm-hmm.
Chicagoland area. He's been on Oprah. He's been done the circuit. Very, very knowledgeable. Let me say this great intro, Sam.
Please.
He's on the cutting edge of telemedicine and
Yes.
telehealth,
Yeah.
which 2020 really brought that into the forefront. We weren't getting out. So telehealth, telemedicine, his name's even been considered, I believe, well, I'll let him talk about that on one of
Yeah.
the national presidential committees for that. But Dr. Andy, will be with us. So not only in Konitso can you ask Dr. Andy, but at Dan and Cindi next week. So maybe about Thursday, you were
I
saying?
think Thursday.
Okay, we'll send out a reminder again about coming. We'll do a kind of a video blurb as we normally do. But get your questions. We're going to talk about vaccine questions, pandemic questions, telehealth, telemedicine. Ask Dr. Andy, our special guest, Dan and Cindi, next week.
We can't wait. I'm so excited to have him, and we'll get questions ahead of time.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to do the live thing. That always gets a little crazy.
Right.
But I'm so very, very excited. Ask Dr. Andy. Yeah, it's like a new feature, and I'm
It's
so
like
pumped.
our own Dr. Oz.
I know. But our age.
But he's going to be great. You're going to love him. You're going to love him. Well, that kind of brings us to one of the things we're in 2021, and in the blog I've been writing about. It was interesting. A couple of weeks ago, I wrote about New Year's and the resolutions that are taking
I forgot
place.
to put that on your list.
That's okay. I got it.
You know what it is. Okay.
And one of the things that we found out is that, as I've done research, Sandy, is somewhere between 70 and 80% of New Year's resolutions folks don't keep. So we really get that. Well, I was wellness director at the Y. I saw it. A lot of times by March, everyone's joined the Y in January. By March on spring break, they're gone. But what we found, and we'll talk about this, I don't want to overload us tonight, but there's a practice called My One Word. And it's a movement of really taking those New Year's resolutions, but focusing our lives, focusing our minds, focusing, if you will, our spirit, mind, and body.
Yep.
So for 2021, we're going to really focus on one word. We'd like to share that segment with you right now. Sandy, why don't you go ahead and
I would love
kick
to.
it off.
So this year, or even before this year, I was trying to anticipate, what do I want my word to be for 2021? And I was reading in Isaiah, is it Isaiah 63?
43, Isaiah 43:19.
Thank you. Isaiah 43.
Look it up today.
Okay, well, there you go. Isaiah 43:19. It says, I am doing something new. I am doing a new thing. Yes. Do you perceive it? Yes. That word perceive literally just jumped out at me. Mm-hmm. Because I am forever praying. I trust God. Mm-hmm. I just sometimes I like to be in on it a little bit, and for him to like put an arrow and go, this is me, this is me. Because sometimes we have to look at it through a different slant. And so I want to position my heart and my spirit to perceive how God is working. Not what I think it should be, because I like to pray and then give God like some suggestions on how to do that. Patsy Claremont always said, what's that verse that says, who would counsel the Lord? Her little hand creeps up.
That's so good.
Often he is always answering.
Yes.
If we miss it, I think more than not, it's because we don't perceive it. So my word for this year is perceive. How about you?
Absolutely love that. Thank you, Sam, for that. Cindy, I should say, for that context. She's really opened the door for me in understanding of context. It really it's almost like you walk all the way around an idea, and it makes it so much more. It makes it so much more rich.
Thanks.
It really does.
Thank you.
Well, my word, I'd love to say, was found in the scriptures, a little more 7. But in the 2008 DreamWorks animation movie, Kung Fu Panda. And some of you know, I did teach character education, and I love to use with kids movies if they made a point, because I'm a real believer that aha, when they see that in the movie. So Kung Fu Panda, passing scene, Po is the leading character, a panda who's learning to become, he is the great one, the promised one, and he's learning that, but he's a panda. Yeah. He's not built like that. He's roly-poly. He loves to eat. And he's learning.
Everything that's not on the list
is Po.
Yeah.
So he's with the Master Oogway. Master Oogway is the ancient turtle, and he's this wise sage. And Poe's going, I guess I should just go back and go back to making noodles. And he says, eat noodles. Oogway saying, no noodles. Quit, stay. You worry too much, Poe. Here's what I think. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. So I'm like, and it's just like one of those mic drop moments. You go, wow, yes. And so for me, Vaccine. I had taught that before, but what really precipitated that for me, San, is we'll talk in just a minute. I feel like, we've got the phone, and, Sandy's trying to tell me something, and I'm at the dinner table going, oh, yeah, okay, oh, yeah. Or it's so funny. We were at dinner the other night, and I looked, and there was a family of 4, and every one of them at the dinner table this.
I know.
So I think we live in a distracted society. And I'm part of culture, and I'm part of that. There's so much 24 news. There's so many things coming in. Just take a look at when you're driving now, how many folks are on texting their phones.
Yeah.
So my goal.
Tell them about that little assessment.
Yes.
That you found.
Is to be present.
Yeah.
To be here.
Present.
Fully present. Today may be a diminishing. It may be diminished. So to do that is really a gift. So I'm kind of taking a turn on that to say, being present with you, being present together is a gift. So what I'd like you to do, and Thomas will put that up, in my research, I wrote about this in my blog this past week. On the Huffington Post, I found the little quiz, and it says, how distracted are you? Take the quiz. So we're going to post this.
Now let me just say.
Well, go ahead, give them a little
it's
bit.
Not
context, would you?
Yes, I will. When I hear the word quiz, I think it's going to be really long. And then I think they're going to tabulate something for me at the end.
Okay. Can I
so
call
it's
this,
really an assessment
or
a
pop quiz.
Or snapshot, you said earlier
Thumbnail
today.
sketch. It's a short 10 question. It can't be that thorough. But what it's good is it begins asking us some surface questions. For instance, one of the questions I love on this, and Thomas will put the...
and there's 10 questions.
10 questions. One of the questions is, how often do you leave the TV on while not actively watching it? So it's just on constantly in the background. Now, you'll answer these questions frequently. Always.
And never.
Or always, frequently, or never. Sometimes or never. And again, what you do is take the little 10 questions, take the test, and then kind of add up how many frequents, how many always, how many nevers did I have? And it gives you, like we said, a nice thumbnail sketch of just how distracted
you just kind of go, oh, wow, I had no idea even that was a distraction.
Yes.
That was called a distraction.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, here's what she says. So now what you can do, what she suggests. So how distracted are you?
Well, I right now am distracted because my eye has a little too much, and it looks like my eyes are crossed.
Well,
on the camera.
You look great.
Okay, sorry.
She's distracted. Well, here's what you can do. First, you can identify which of the above you'll commit to changing in order to be more present moment oriented. I love that. Present moment oriented. So anyway, take a look at these, tally them up, take a look, be easy on yourself, but be honest.
Yes.
Because you know what? I think you'll be surprised as we were.
Yep.
We're going to work on that to be present-minded oriented, and let us know how you did on that. But again, that Thomas will put that up. That's from the Huffington Post. And again, I thank you, Sandy, for sharing your word. If you guys want to do that, it'd be wonderful.
Be awesome.
Let us know your words that you're choosing for this year, and a little bit maybe why you're choosing that focus for 2021.
You know, while we're talking about that being distracted, here's my tech tip for this
Sandy,
week.
Good.
And it does have to do with limiting distractions.
Excellent.
Now, it's very hard for me to put my phone down at all. That's because when Jonathan was 2 years old, was the one time I had left my phone in the trunk of my car, because it was one of those big suitcase phones. And it was not a good thing, because once I got that phone, I saw that there were so many calls I had missed. Jonathan had had his head injury accident. So I will give you context on that it's very hard for me to put my phone down. But I found if you go into your settings, whether you have whatever phone you have, you always have a settings. Then there will be something, it'll either say privacy, or on the Apple phones it says do not disturb.
Yes.
You can hit do not disturb, which I have it on right now.
Go ahead.
And only phone calls from my favorite list. So all of my kids are on there, and my parents are on there.
Did I make the list?
You are you're number one, dude. Now, I don't have texts because I feel like people can, the kids can call, or my parents can call. But it gives me peace of mind because I don't have to check it every single time it makes any kind of noise. So try that, do not disturb. The other one is just, if you have it on do not disturb for a while, set it somewhere where you can't just grab it and go, I wonder what's going on.
Mm.
I found myself setting it aside this week, even
Yes.
for an hour.
Yes.
And it really helps my mind relax
Yes.
because I'm like, not what am I missing? So that is my tech tip, which brings me back to the tip, because we talked about shipped. Now,
Yes.
you have to be really careful with that whole sentence.
We may need to pause
Woo!
for station identification.
But here's what I want to say about
Good.
any of the people who are working
Yes.
really hard with
Yes.
food delivery.
Yes.
Tip your people.
That's good.
Because a lot of times that's all they're making. And there are just a shortage of jobs right now.
Yes.
And that's going to get better. I know it will.
Yes.
But anytime you get an Amazon delivery or a DoorDash or any of those things, we just know we have a couple kids who are working shipped.
There you
We
go.
have some kids here and in Nashville.
Yes.
So don't forget to tip them. They're working really, really hard.
Well, this brings us, we're winding down. We've got just a few minutes left with you to really what we always try again to do, something practical, something inspirational, and something educational. So hopefully now we're to the inspiration. And if you've seen us in concert, really 2019, 2020 was a little low in concerts for all of us, but 2021 is definitely looking better. We've been doing some concerts. Sandy's been doing concerts called Songs and Stories. And so tell them just a little bit, Sandy. It's just kind of a nice segment for, I don't really have yet a jingle in mind.
I know.
But Cindy, tell us a little bit about Songs and Stories.
Well, I will be glad to. So the song that you were asking me about this week is a song called In the Name of the Lord. I am not a songwriter, but this is one of the few songs that I have written. And again, Thomas is going to put up a link of me singing it
Excellent.
somewhere in
Excellent.
years past with crazy hair. But I was reading a book. This was, let me give a little more comment, probably 30 years ago. I was reading a book by Kay Arthur called The Names of God. And she talked about how in different places of the Bible that this is the God who sees, this is the God who heals, this is the God who provides, all the different names of God. So it was grocery shopping day, and I went to the grocery store, and I was just kind of thinking about the premise of if you really knew that God is the God who heals and God is the God, boy, there's such strength in the name of the Lord. Wow. And then I kept thinking about it as I was, walking through the aisles. There's hope. Wow. There is hope in the name of the Lord. There is power in the name of the Lord. And by the time I got to the produce section, I had written that little chorus. There is strength in the name of the Lord. There is hope in the name of the Lord. There is power. I think I mixed up the last two words. En el nombre de Dios. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. And I just really loved the chorus. So I called my friend Gloria Gaither. And I talked about that. I know, sorry, let me get that name I just dropped. And I said, Gloria, I have this song, and I think there's something here. And so she took it and she said, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, comes from the Old Testament, but really we know it on Palm Sunday, when Jesus was walking down the streets of Jerusalem, and they were putting palm branches. They were saying, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. So that's why the first verse is about, the crowds have lined the narrow street. Yes. But the second verse is this verse that has always been an inspiration. When my plans have fallen through, and when my strength is nearly gone, when there's nothing left to do but just depend on you and the power of your name. So often I would sing that song out of aspiration, that I aspired for it to be true. Now I can sing it more out of inspiration because I know it to be true. So that's my story behind the song.
I love
How about
that.
story behind the song? How about that could be the segment title?
We'll have to get a little. Next week, we'll try to work on a jingle this week. Story.
Although
behind the
I
song.
did see a comment that said, please stop singing. So, maybe we won't sing. I don't know. I don't know.
I love it when you sing.
In the name, of the Lord.
Of the Lord.
And when I'm afraid, that is the song that I go to so often in my even in my dreams.
Power,
I sing that song.
Thank you, Sam, for that.
Tell us what's happening at Crossings.
Well, again, you know what? We're wrapping up our time together. We always like to finish up with a Crossings moment. Sandy she's our artist in the residence at Crossings Community Church here in Oklahoma City, and I'm our pastor of chapel worship. Tomorrow, and many of you have said you've been joining with us online at 9:30 and 11. You can check us out at crossings.church. Crossings.church. Thomas will put that up for you. But we've got 2 offerings of services that'll be offered. We've got a traditional service and a blended service, and then a contemporary service. So Larry Harrison's our pastor of worship, and Josh Eddington's our pastor of contemporary worship. Again,
and if you're in the Oklahoma City area, come at 8:30. Don leads the chapel service, and while our precious brother and spiritual director is battling leukemia.
Yes.
I've kind of been stepping in and helping you host, and I really have enjoyed that so much. But that's not online. If you're in Oklahoma City, come and see us in the chapel.
Often we don't ever give you a prayer request from Dan and Cindy, but if you would, Pastor Ron Mon, lift him up this week. I can't imagine what could happen if you folks out there continue. His doctors are encouraged. He's our spiritual director and our co-pastor in the chapel. But lift him up. Again, tomorrow, crossings.church, 9:30 and 11. Many of you are joining us from all over the country, really all over the world. And we're so grateful, so appreciative of joining us. Well, it's coming to that time. We need to close. And tonight, I've asked Sandy to read for us from the Book of Common Prayer, the newest version, from the Anglican Church 2019 edition, a prayer for our country. And
it's in times of social conflict and distress.
How perfect.
Hello.
How perfect.
And Thomas will put that up for all of us because it's a really powerful prayer.
Well, let's pray together as she reads.
Increase, O God, the spirit of neighborliness among us, that in peril we may uphold one another, in suffering tend to one another, and in homelessness, loneliness, or exile befriend one another. Grant us brave and enduring hearts that we may strengthen one another until the disciplines and testing of these days are ended, and you again give peace in our time. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. And amen.
And amen.
Thank you for joining us this week. Next week, remember, we'll have Ask Dr. Andy, and we'll have Dr. Andy with us. And then in 2 weeks, we are going to sit down virtually with our pastor and our friend, Marty Grubbs. He has been unpacking just an incredible message on breathing underwater. Like, how do we cope when we're being, when we just can't even catch a breath these days? And so we're going to talk about that. Especially, we're going to talk about depression. So in 2 weeks, February 6th, we're going to chat with Marty Grubbs, our pastor and dear friend. And then next week will be Dr. Andy. So we'll get your questions this week.
Yes.
Anything else there?
Well, I think what a great show. It's just so fun. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your faithfulness. And we're coming up on a year anniversary. We'll try to figure out when's our year anniversary. Dan and Cindy anniversary.
I know.
But what a year it's been. And know this, we pray for you. We think of you often. Stay in touch with us. God bless. And we'll see you next week for Sunsets with
Dan and Cindy. Just a little different. Okay. Bye, everybody.
She's adding a new verse. See you next week.
Bye.